Hello students, we are discussing about rheology. Rheology generally it's a Greek word, it derived from Greek word. It contains two words like rheo and logy. Rheo means flow and logy means study. So ultimately rheology is the science of flow of a material. It not only applies to liquid but it also applies to solid and semi-solid as well. But it also applies to the substance which have complex microstructures such as suspension and slugs, etc. The significance of rheology is that when we are going to processing any manufacturing dosage form, we use some equipment and we have to decide their administration and their packaging concept. So rheology is an important concept by which we can study the flow of material. Generally, on the basis of flow, there is two type of fluids are there. First is a Newtonian fluids and another one is the non-Newtonian fluids. Newtonian fluids, the fluids which obey Newton's law, that fluid considered in a Newtonian fluids. The other material which do not obey Newton's law is considered in a non-Newtonian fluids. In Newtonian fluids, there is an shear stress is directly proportional to the rate of shear. When we plot a graph between a rate of shear and shear stress, we got a straight line. That straight line is represent the fluidity, which is reciprocal to the viscosity. Now, non-Newtonian fluid. Those fluids which do not obey Newton's law of viscosity is termed as non-Newtonian fluids. Non-Newtonian fluids follows three types of behavior such as plastic flow, pseudo-plastic flow and dilatant flow. Plastic flow, this flow is generally considered as an Bingham body because the scientist who discovered this flow is Bingham. So the material which follows plastic flow are called Bingham bodies. Flocculated system are the best example of plastic flow. On applying shearing stress, initially floccules will not break and they will move away from each other. When shear stress will be more than the yield value, then particle will be break and act as an individual particle. Then the system will follow Newtonian flow. When we plot a graph between shear stress and rate of shear, we got an slope. This slope is represent the mobility, which is and the reciprocal of mobility is known as plastic viscosity. Now the pseudoplastic flow. Polymers such as HPMC, CMC in water are the best example of pseudoplastic flow. When polymer are placed between a layer of water, then it will get swollen due to the hydration of polymer molecule. The solution become high viscous, will make the solution high viscous. Now by applying shear stress, this polymer molecule will dehydrate it and this polymer will align themselves in the direction of flow. Thus the material become less viscous. Hence this system are also known as shear thinning system. Now moving on, dilatant flow. It exhibited by suspension containing 50% deflocculated particles. The best example of dilatant flow is cornstarch in water. When cornstarch molecule will added in water, the quantity of cornstarch is more than the water. On applying shearing stress, suddenly the particle bunch up together and large void also develop. Since the amount of vehicle is constant, with further increase in shear rate, the particle show increased resistance to flow and the material become more viscous and attain solid paste-like consistency. Therefore, it is called as shear thinning system. There are various methods by which we can determine the viscosity of material, like Ostwald viscometer are there, rotational viscometer are there, and Cobb and Worm viscometer are there. So students, we discussed about the rheology, in which we study the various type of flow of material like Newtonian flow, non-Newtonian flow, in which we studied the plastic flow, dilatant flow and the pseudoplastic flow. Thank you.